Hello everyone and welcome to a new part of our series. In this video, we will be creating our time game mode. So let's get started. First, we need a widget that shows us the time left to keep track of the time. So let's create a widget. Okay, let's call it timer widget. Okay, let's go to our Visual Studio, and in here we want to create a function, or before the function we need to create a text block. Okay, let's call it time text. And now the function is void update time, takes a parameter the total seconds we have. Okay, let's include the text block component header. Now, in our function here, we want to update the time. Uh, we need to format it actually and update it every second. And the format we want to use is like this. Okay, so this is for the minutes and this is for the seconds. Let's say we have 60 seconds, total seconds as 60 seconds. This means it will the format will look like this. Okay, that's 1 minute, right? And let's say we have 90 seconds, it will look like this. So let's get started. First, we need a integer to keep track of the minutes, and the minutes is equal to total seconds divided by 60, and the seconds is equal to total seconds modulo 60. Okay, oops. Now we need a string. Let's call it formatted time equal to f string print f. Like this, and no, like this. Okay, and here the minutes and seconds. So this minute is for here for this one, and seconds is for this one here. Then we need to set the time text. We need to set it. So it's time text set text from string, and the string is formatted time. Now if this line confuses you here, well, this line here means that this is the format string. Okay, so uh, this over here means format an integer. Okay, this d is for decimal. Okay, so format an integer with at least 2 digits. Okay, and pad with 0 if necessary. Okay, so let's say the minute is 5. This minute is equal to 5 minutes. It will become 0 5. Okay, and this is basically the same for seconds. Okay, so we are done here. We don't need this anymore. Now let's go to our hoop, and we need to create this widget as a widget. This widget we created, the timer, as a widget component here, and attach it to the hoop. Okay, so first we need to include widget component, components widget component. Yeah. But first, let's go to header, of course, and for declare the widget component, and here in public, visible anywhere, new widget component. Let's call it time widget component. Now here, let's create it. So time widget component is equal to create default subobject. Okay, now let's attach it. So time widget component setup attachment root component. Design size true, and we want to make it word space. So set widget space e widget words. And by default, we want it to be hidden because we only want it to be shown inside the game mode, time game mode. Okay, so time widget component set hidden in game true. Now let's compile. Okay, and let's create, where is it? Timer widget. Let's create a blueprint. Let's add a size box and design it on screen. Override this, maybe 150 by 100, and a border. Let's set the brush color to blue like this, and draw as rounded box, X radius 30. Okay, this sounds good. Now we need a text. So text, set it here. Let's wrap to the size box. I forgot, sorry. Scale box, not size box. Scale box. Okay. Let's give it a default value of maybe like this, 15 seconds. Okay. Maybe let's make this a little bit bigger, like this. Yeah. And now maybe outline 2. What else? Let's name this time text. And I think that's it. Now we are ready to go to our hoop here. And the time widget here, we need to set it to our time widget. Make sure it's the blueprint one. Okay, not this one, the blueprint one. And let's make it visible. Sorry, not hidden. Just for now so we can edit it. like this. This is nice, maybe a little bit lower here. Okay, so we can hide it again now, we don't need it. Great, now let's create our timed mode, game mode. Let's go to parent game mode here and create a C++ derived from it. So let's call it timed game mode. Okay, now in our timed game mode, first we need a constructor. Okay, then we need to override the virtual begin play. So virtual void begin play override, and we also need to override the what did you call it here? This one on the activation box overlap. Let's copy this and paste it here, and let's override it. We also need to override the start. Okay. And now we need an integer for the total second. So view property defaults only, category parameters, and total seconds. I will give it a default value of 20. Okay. And we need another integer. Let's copy it here. Target score equal 10 by default. This target score is the score the player must reach before the game ends, the timer ends. And each time the player reaches the score, this score will increase to make it harder. So let's say we reach 10 first time, maybe next time we will make it 30, then 60, and so on. Okay. Let's override now this. Okay, so now super begin play. And now we need to get the timer widget component and set it to and unhide it, okay? Because by default it's hidden, remember? So if basketball hoop and basketball hoop timer, oh, let's include the timer widget, time widget component. Right now, the time widget component doesn't actually have a widget inside of it. Like, remember here how we set this widget class to be this widget we created, but right now maybe it's set here, it is set, but however the game doesn't know that this widget class is set. So we need to first get the user widget object from this, and then if it's valid we cast it to our timer widget. So let's first get a user widget. Let's call it widget object. It's equal to basketball hoop time widget component get. Let's include the component here. Get user widget object. Now we need to cast to the widget timer widget. So timer widget is equal cast. Oh, we didn't create it here. So let's go to the header. Okay, first declare su timer widget. and here u timer widget, timer widget. Okay, so timer widget equal cast u timer widget, and the cast object is widget object. Now if we cast it successfully, we need to unhide it. So basketball hoop timer set hidden in game false, and we need to start the time. So word get timer manager dot set timer. Um, let's create here a timer, f timer handle. Let's call it game time, game timer. Okay, so game timer this and a time game mode. Now we need a function to reduce the game time. So let's just say now like this, reduce game time and every 1 second and repeat true. So let's go create this function. Okay, so now we binded a timer to call this function every 1 second, and this function will reduce the total seconds here, and will also update the widget to show the new timer. Okay, but first let's do this box here. Let's first call the parent function. Okay, now if ball interface deactivate ball, or no, not deactivate ball, sorry, set scored boolean false. Now let's do this here. So first we need to reduce the seconds by 1, then we need to update the widget. So timer widget update, let's include it here. So include timer widget update time, and seconds is total seconds. Then if total seconds is smaller or equal to 0, word get timer manager dot clear timer game timer, and we end the game. Okay, let's go here and compile everything. Hmm. I'm not sure what's wrong, but I think, let's see, let me just comment the constructor. Let's try again. Yeah, okay, so the problem was because constructor was defined but never actually here created. So it's okay. Let's go and time game mode, create a blueprint from it. It will be clear. And game modes. Now inside our maps here, let's duplicate this map. Okay, let's call it limited time map, and let's go inside of it. Let's change the game mode to, what is it? The time game mode. Okay, let's override it. Now, if we start, as you can see, the timer is started, but the ball is not spawning because we didn't assign anything to it yet. And in this time mode, we want the ball to be spawned as soon as the old ball is launched. Okay, as soon as possible. Not we don't have to wait for it to score, then to spawn a new one, because well, this will waste a lot of time. So as soon as we launch one, another one should be spawned, so the player can immediately launch another one. Because let's not forget that he's trying to beat the time. Okay, so to do it, we need to go into our ball interface, or not the ball class, and create a delegate here that will be called as soon as the ball is launched. And in our game mode here, we bind a function to this ball, to this delegate, to spawn a new ball. Okay, so let's go here, and in here let's declare ball launch, parameter is boolean, and random location. And in here in public, on ball launched, on ball launched. Um, where is it? Launch code of the analysis. Now here we need to broadcast it, and parameter is false. I don't want it a random location. I want it in the middle always. Now, unlike this one here, unlike this, remember in our unlimited game mode, we binded this delegate on score to activate the next ball in here, in our game mode on the gameplay. However, we can't do this for the ball, for this delegate here. We can't do this because in here, the basketball hoop is only one basketball hoop. We don't have another one, right? So it works fine because it's only this basketball hoop, and you are binding the on score of it to this function. However, our ball in our time mode, we might have a lot of balls, like 3-4 balls, and if you want to bind here, let's say we got a ball reference and we binded the delegate to spawn a new ball. It won't work because it will only work for one ball. Okay, the reference. So what we can do is in the ball on begin play, we can check for the game mode type. If it's time game mode, we can bind the activate next ball for it. So now whatever ball it is, whenever it spawns a new ball, the begin play will be called, and the function will be binded to the event. Okay, I hope you understood what I mean. So let's go ahead now here. If or before, we need to create an enum. Okay, for the time mode. So let's go here and create a new C++ class and choose none. Okay, so and let's call it game mode type enum. So now let's close everything here, and let's close the Visual Studio as well, and close the editor as well. And we need to go to our project folder. Okay, so once you get there, we need to delete few stuff that you don't need. So I will go there right now. Okay, so once we are in our folder, let's go to source, basketball tutorial, and we need to delete everything that we don't need, like the interface.cpp. We don't really need that. So let's delete the ball interface.cpp. And what else we don't need? Game instance interface.cpp. Delete that. Game mode interface.cpp, and the game mode type enum. We also don't need the cpp file. We can delete it. And the hoop interface cpp. What else? That's it. That's all we don't need. Now let's go back to our folder here and right click on the Unreal project, show more options, and generate Visual Studio project files. And once this generation is completed, we can go back to our C++ and launch the project from there. Okay, let's go back to Visual Studio and launch the project. Okay, now we can go to game mode type game mode type enum and delete everything here except for these pragma mount and core minimal, and we want to include game mode type enum.generated.h. Okay, now let's create the enum. So view enum blueprint type enum class e game mode type u int8, and here we define our variables, our enum type. So first one is let's say none, view meta, and display name is equal to none. Okay, then the second one is timed, and the last one is unlimited time. Meta display name equal unlimited time. Okay, so now our enum is ready. Let's go here and compile. Okay, and now in our parent game mode here, let's include in the header, let's include the game mode type enum, and let's create a variable inside the protected here game mode type let's call it game mode type and let's give it a default value of game mode. Type none. Okay, why we didn't see anything else? Oh, there we go. Okay, none. Mm, Now let's override this inside our game mode. So here, a unlimited time game mode. Let's create the constructor here. So a unlimited time game mode, and we want to set the game mode type equal e game mode type, no, e game mode type unlimited time, and in our time game mode here, a timed game mode, a timed game mode. Let's set it to timed. Great. Now we need to create a function in our interface that returns the game mode type. So let's go here, game mode interface, and create. First, let's include the header here. So game mode type enum. Now let's create a function, virtual e game mode type. Oh, game mode type get game mode type const equals 0. Now here inside the public override and return game mode type. Then in our ball in the begin play here, if game mode interface get game mode type, or let's create a local variable. So e game mode type game mode type is equal to this. Now if game mode type is equal timed mode, then we want to bind the ball on ball launched. So on ball launched dot add dynamic, and the function we want to bind it is inside the parent game mode. So you can do here game mode interface, then game mode interface, activate next ball, and this should be it. Now if we start the game and go to time game mode, if we swipe, as you can see, the ball is spawning a new one as soon as we launch the other. But we have a problem here. The ball that is launched is sometimes is hitting this newly spawned ball, activated ball, and it's causing it to, you see, roll forward. So to avoid that, we need to set the ball to not collide with itself, with its type. And one way to do it, since we are using the ball as a physics actor, right, and it's the only physics actor we have, then we can make the ball uh, to ignore physics actor, ignore collision with physics actors. Okay. Now, if you have many physics actors in, let's say, another game, and you want to do something similar to this, but you don't want it to ignore all physics actors, then this way we will do now doesn't work. What you can do is maybe create a new channel inside the editor here, collision here. Maybe you can create a new object channel or new trace channel and set them to be custom and maybe work from there. But for now, this will work because we have this ball as the only physics actor and we want it to ignore collision with itself. So let's go ahead and do that. So ball mesh, set collision response to channels, to, no, not to all channels, to channel. And the channel is physics actor, physics body, sorry, and E collision response ignore. Okay, now let's try it. It's still not working. Maybe if we exit the editor and then maybe launch it again, it will work. Let's try now. Yeah, now it's working perfectly fine. Okay, you can see it's not rolling anymore. Great. Next, we need to set a target score in here, and we also need. Oh, we forgot something here. Let's go to blueprints, game mode, and the time game mode. We need to set the class game widget class to our gameplay widget. Okay. Next, we need to add a target score somewhere here. So let's say target score is 10. It will say target score equal 10, and the player have to reach it. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's create a class user widget, and let's call it target score widget. Great. Now here, let's forward declare class text block, and inside the public void update target score text and parameter new target score of type integer, of course. Then inside the private, okay, okay. Um, so if target score text. Now we need to format the text. You can format it whatever you want, but I want the text to display target and the actual target like this. So we need a way to format it, and to do it, f string formatted string is equal to target, and then here decimal, and the decimal is new target score. Okay, then we set it. So target score text set. Oops, let's include header. Okay, so that's it. Now we can close it, and we can go to our gameplay. In here, we need to use target score widget. Yeah, target score widget. And here, okay, and we need a function to update the target score UI. And we need a function to show and hide. Show. Oops. Or let's call it UI. Okay. Bool v show. Now first let's include the header for the target widget, target score widget. And here, update target score UI if target score widget update target score text new target score. And for the show, we need to do the same as here. So let's copy this and bring it here. Let's change this to this. Target score widget visibility. But instead of visible, we want it to be hit test invisible. Okay, great. Now let's close this and let's go and compile. And here, target score, create blueprint. Let's add text and change this to desired on screen. Change this and change the target. See, text to target 10, let's say. Outline 1 or without outline, whatever. Let's call it target score text. And give it size of 80, maybe. Now, and inside our gameplay widget, let's add the target score and make it size to content and anchor it in the middle somewhere, somewhere between this and this. So maybe here. Okay, like this. Let's call it without the underscore BP. Okay. Okay, it's nice, but maybe take this a little bit higher, somewhere here, so we have more space for this. Yeah, it's better now. And now, right now, even it also shows in here, but we don't want that. So first, let's make it visibility. Let's make it hidden by default. And inside our time game mode here, we need to set it to unhide it. So let's include gameplay widget. Okay. And in here, gameplay widget, show target score UI true. Okay, so now it's not visible, and here it is visible. Okay, great. Now we need to update the target score whenever we reach the score. Okay, so when we reach 10, we need to update this to be equal to a new value. And as you can see, when we reach 0, the game was over. However, I noticed that sometimes on different screens and different dimensions, this restart button doesn't hide the ball entirely, and the ball sometimes when it can be seen, I can drag it and shoot it, and even when the game has ended. Okay, so we need to fix that. Also, I noticed that this timer here is first 15, and that's because you gave it a default value of 15. So we need to change that. We need it to be 20 when it starts the game. Okay, or not 20. We need it to be the value that we decide to put for the total seconds. So let's go and start fixing these. Now um, here we need to fix the timer. We need to get the timer widget and call the function update time total seconds. This will fix this time issue. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's 20 now. Great. Now let's fix the touch events when the game ends. We should disable it. So let's go and override the end game function. So virtual void end game override. Um, this void endgame, we should declare it as virtual void endgame, so we can override it. Okay. Now let's override it here. Now here we need to get the player controller, and we need to disable touch events. So be enable touch event equal false. Let's copy paste this inside our restart. Let's set this to true. instead of false. Okay. Now what do we need? Um, Now we need to update the target score whenever we reach the current target score. So let's go here and override a function. Okay. Now if total seconds bigger than 0, which means the game hasn't ended yet, and if the current score is bigger or equal to target score, the target score becomes target score plus 10 times a target score multiplier. Okay, let's create this. So in here, multiplier equal to as default value, and let's delete this for now. I will get back to it later. So then the target score multiplier will be incremented by 1. So let's say our target score is 10. So 10 equal, or target score equal 10 plus 10 times 2, which means it is equal to 30. The new target score is equal to 30. And when it's 30, then it is equal to 30 plus 10 times 3, because this is incremented by 1. So it's 60, and so on. Then it becomes 100, then 150. So basically each time we are incrementing the score. First time we're incrementing it by 20, then by 30, then by 40, by 50, 60, and so on. Okay, and we increment the target score multiplier. Then after, we want to update the gameplay widget and the update target score from the gameplay widget. So gameplay widget instance update target score and total seconds plus equal 15. We need to add time. We need to give the player time whenever he reach the target score. We need to give him some time. So I'm giving him 15 seconds. Maybe we can later expose this to blueprints. And we need to update the time after we updated. So update time total seconds. Okay, let's test this out. Or before testing this, let's go and the restart game, let's populate it. So first score, a target score equal 10 again. Yeah, 10. And total seconds equal 20. Target score multiplier equal 2. And we need to update the target score. Also need to update time, so timer widget. And we need to enable, oh, we already did it here. We need to enable here and reduce game time when the game has ended, when we are clearing the timer. So we need to set it again. So let's go to begin play and copy paste this, and this should be it. Okay, let's play. Now if we reach 10, it should become 30, and the time should increase by 15. Yeah, As you can see, it's working. Now let's try to lose the game and restart to see if the restart is working. Okay, now this should be back to 10, this should be back to 0, and this should be back to 20. Okay, target is 2 for some reason. Oh, update target. This should be target score, not target score multiplier. Okay, so it should be working. Now, this should be all, but however, remember how we exposed these two blueprints, so we can edit them from here. Now let's say I want total seconds to be equal to 5, okay? And it is 5. Now, if we lose the game, the total seconds will be back to 20, not 5, okay? That's because we are setting it here to be equal to 20 again, which is not correct. We need to store this on the begin play. We need to store all of these into a variables and then set these variables here. So here, let's create an integer called cached total seconds and cached target score, and here cached score multiplier. Also, I want to create a new integer and expose it to blueprints. Let's call it additional time equal 15. Okay, so here updates here and the update score, when we are updating the seconds, let's add additional time here instead of 15. And in here in the begin play, let's set the cached score target score to be equal to target score, and the cached total seconds equal total seconds, and the cached score multiplier equal score multiplier. Now here, let's paste this instead of the static values. Okay, now it should work. Now if total seconds is 5 and target score is maybe 3 and the multiplier is I don't know, 3 also, and additional time is maybe 2 minutes, 120 seconds. Let's try this. Okay, so now the score is 5. When we reach 5, target score is 3. When we reach 3, it should become 33, and the time should become 2 minutes. 2 minutes plus the time we already have. Okay, so let's try it. Oh, we need to call the update target score UI here. We can call it here, doesn't matter. So let's compile this also. Okay, now it's 3, and let's try to reach the target, and it's 33, just as expected, and the timer is 2 minutes. Okay, now let's try and lose this, or additional time 0. Okay, let's try to lose this. Now this should be back to 10, not 10, 3. This should be back to 0, and this should be back to 5. 305. Okay. So everything is working, which is great. Now Let's reset all of these to values to defaults. Now this should be done for this tutorial. I don't think we need anything else. In the next tutorial, which might be the last tutorial, we will be implementing the high score system, and we will be doing some polishing, like adding a background here and removing this viewport size, and maybe change the font because it's very, very annoying. I imported the wrong font type, and I will change it in the next tutorial. Yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.